وأنت أيها الفتى، ما لي أراك تنقض هنا عند التقييم؟ ألست خائفا من المسرح؟
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lanagus mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Hi, Johnny.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts,
No.
but my skills pale in comparison.
تمام. ايه شو بعد؟ ما عندنا وقت نضيعه. شو قال عليكم أنا؟
Your lordship. Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to
لا خلاص اتبرى منها انا بصير محكمة بقولها بعدين الشخص يسوي لي ازعاج ارفع عليه دعوة.
I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest?
هدوء
You
عندك.
didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time. Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Hmm? Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was
Triceps.
just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though.
كم يوم باقي؟
A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
يعني تاريخ 5 بنشتغل.
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard,
ما
you
أدري
were in
ساعة كم
Dana
بينزل
competing in the
أصلا
crown
تاريخ
contest.
4.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
اوكي.
It's worth investigating, at least.
هذا شيء زين.
I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks
تاريخ
safe,
4
I'll
يوم
come and let you
يصادف
know.
لأنه بضرب إجازة.
You'd really do that for me? A lord
4 تاريخ 4 يوم الجمعة يعني اوريدي بخلص وبي.
Our lot in life is of little
والله بضرب
consequence.
إجازة. باخذ
We're both
إجازة.
Renan, first and foremost.
هالجمعة الجاية هالجمعة اللي بتي لا مش هذا اللي بعديه.
Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information.
على راحته.
No one has the
أها،
faintest idea
قاعدين
what's happened to the
نتريا.
city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it
أهم
always been
شيء
like that?
ما يظهرنا
Not to
هذا
this
البومر
extent,
اللي ينفجر
which
كورس
would
فمه.
indicate that something's suppressing the truth. That Lennicus is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to
أنا
their
يوم شفت
city,
التريلر شفت مكان شيء ظلام وما أدري شو. في مخلوقات غريبة.
That one guy even said his
في
Zoogle
حشرات.
stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep.
تجريبية.
Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lennicus?
يا سلام.
The Sovereign, of course.
أكيد بيقول روح مني روح مني روح مني.
And Lennicus.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the
دلي
same size
اطلع.
as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over.
أهم لو كان هاي الشخصية موجودة. If Mama is happy, everyone is happy. بصراحة بيكون تاريخي.
Oh, I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of
صح.
the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I
كيف
haven't.
كيف؟
Neither have I. In which case, I
آه.
imagine that...
أول شهر ما
Surely
بينزلون
not.
بعد فترة.
Can it really be that no citizen of Lennicus has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
خلي ما نشوف
Assuming what I
اللي
believe
بسمعه.
to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lennicus has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
ما نطلع
What if the
بكل
Sovereign
حسابات
is
بلاتينيوم يا
imposing his will
صديقي.
on Lennicus single-handedly? It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case,
Can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony.
أهم
But
شيء عنا
sovereign is
الحقوق
also
خلاص.
the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know
الحين ما
what to
نبغى العب
believe.
بلاي ستيشن بلس خش
Centuries
مطيسكم.
ago, I became the sovereign.
تخيل الحين العاب لان اللعبه يطلع لك اللعبه بلاي ستيشن فنانه دومتي.
Forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the sovereign's crest. That's not the only
لايبراري
thing we
هو
have in
كل
common.
هالسنه كلنا احنا
We
لايبراري
both became
ما لعبنا
sovereign
منهم غير
without
10
winning
العاب.
the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I
Sure.
can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that two sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions.
صحت.
Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
تبغى هي
One of the
تتحكم بكل
citizens
شيء.
mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it. I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet,
أيوة.
weirdly, none of them seem to mind.
تسوي لي
Am I the only
بوفيه
one who finds that
بعدين
strange?
بسوي حركة اساسن
It is the
كريد
way
سندكيت
things have
عندها
always
الزيب
been,
لاين
so no one thinks to
بتصعد.
question it. You have
ده
experience in
هوك
that
ماله.
regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned too.
من الحين من دخلت التلشات بارتي كل هذا ياس
If you've
يتكلمون.
a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's
هذا
all. I'm
بعد
just helping them along.
Hey! What's
بعد
coming
ما
to
وصلت
Elfin
ميشن
all of a
الأخير.
sudden? I
قص
can
عليه
barely
يا
understand
رجال.
a word they're saying.
يجيبك أحداث
And
ما
what's
أحداث
with the
تقول
weird
خلاص هذا
poses?
الأخير.
Was it something they
بعدين
ate?
تشوف تروفيات بعده مطولين.
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting
والله
them to take me
ستوري
so
كثير في
seriously.
6.
I'll go and have a word with them.
ايه والله. لا دايلوج هذا عليه تروفي ما اقدر اسوي له سكيب.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here in Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
والله دخل شو اوه متى قال بينزل هذا؟ أحلى شيء في إيطاليا هالمرة وين بيكون؟ فرنسا.
Balsaf had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible.
هذا إذا مالتي بلاي خلاه ترتيب عندي. ترتيب هي خلى عندي طلع لك إياه. اللعبة الوحيدة في المالتي بلاير أنا بروفيشنال.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down.
هذا ما ينخاف عليه.
Like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from.
تدري ناس عشان يبون يلعبون داينغ لايت 2 ياتي يلعبون داينغ لايت 1. صباح الخير.
Ganabelt was so horrible to people. He was invested in
حللنا نحن اللعبة. ما باقي الشركة يجي بيت يعطينا التروفي.
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
يمكن تروفي جليتش بالسماء. مال هذا داينغ لايت.
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as another district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis's transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
يا السما.
Pardon me.
بعد كم 3 شهور.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Ridiculous.
It's
seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganeth Harros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
شوف كم كوست خلصت لان احنا والله حس مليون نسوي والله لا في statistics عندي 52 من 70 والله وانا لان هالبوينت كل السايد كوست مسوي اللي في طريقي يعني في بعدها لان الحين جيت كوكب ثاني انا وين نسوي الحين
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfricht Milgras, the former lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfricht whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelegion, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it. Let's get a move on.
سويت لك تاج في الفيسبوك. يمكن كان عندك كورونا. نهذا عجيبة أبو فضاجين يسوي لك حركات غريبة وعجيبة.
Doe?
Faria.
Faria?
شفت أنا عم فنطرشنك هذا.
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
هذه البوس الأخير ظهرت. بس تظهر شوي عقب تختفي. يعني أنا قربت للنهاية. إيه لابس أحمر. جن هذا. زين. شي تقول لهم الفضائية.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last.
كيف حيوان ما يعرف؟
Did you mean what you said?
ريحة.
About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
شهيد.
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to.
قولها يجيب لك عصفورة وخلاص.
You have just as much reason to kill me as
لا
she
يطلع
does.
برا ولا شيء.
Forgive me.
ببغاء سميه عليكو. ايه قولي سميه عليكو. بقول له عليكو تعال انت مشهور في لبنان مربينك في البيوت. والله موضوع صعب صراحة. يلعب بي سي اللعبة غريبة عجيبة يلعب يا ريال. من زمان يلعب بي سي. ليج اوف ليجند ما ادري في يلعب. ما اشوف عشان بس ايه لا هو من زمان يلعب بس ما اتذكر قد طلع بلاتينيوم بعد فيه يمكن. ممكن بلوك نسوي له بدون موافقتك بعد قول له.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renan sure know
ايه
how to live it
كريستال
up,
يا
don't they?
اسمع هذا يشوف تلفزيون ولا كمبيوتر او تليفون يستوي شيء ازرق.
Before I went down to Dana,
Blue
my friends
filter
and I,
و protected from
we
the
used to
sun.
gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnigan. That was a lifetime ago now.
هي هذه لو اطلع في الشمس يستوي اسود. ايوه اتذكر هاك الصوره طرشت لك انا ويا هذا شو اسمه التارجت. هذا هي
as well as Faria's
انا ويا التارجت مالك.
Despite Faria's lower class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing,
شو
I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnigan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. Four people bound only by the love of music.
انا قلت الله يرمي له مهدي وصل.
Only the next song, the next melody.
انا يا شباب يقولوني انا في النهايه يمكن انا اعملها طلع واحد غيري عملها. شفت اقرع كاتب في جبينه ما ادري شو كاتب. انا ما اعطيت انتباه اتنشن وايد. انا على بالي نفسه هذا مال الكوميدي ما كوميدي. بعدين امس خبرني ربيع كذا كذا موضوع قال اوه هذا هو صدق سالفه على بالي كوميدي هذا.
Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends
بروحه معركه الحين حرب هناك شغاله.
Something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise doesn't seem too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart.
ما عرفتوا منو؟
And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began.
لو تلاقينا مكان واحد يقولون ظهور ياجوج وماجوج.
Tarnigan
يقولون ظهورهم ايوه.
Become a lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest.
مشاكل ها لو قاعدوا مكان واحد تم ظهور ياجوج وماجوج.
What happened?
Tarnigan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait.
هذا تاج هذا كان واحد من الأباطرة دخل في التيم مالي.
How could I tell her?
ضربني ضربني أول بداية ضرب.
And by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead
هذا أنا محط الجناح ما أدري شو الكستمايزيشن.
So she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty.
لعبة جديدة ولا هي
Instead,
Rainbow
I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after,
مو جديدة نفسهم لا.
Hey. But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now.
والله?
The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right.
Rainbow Six?
What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
ما يحتاج.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like
أنا
that.
شفت شوي أنا على بالي هو هذا بس نفس DLC.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right.
يمكن ننزل بلاي ستيشن بلس بعدين. والله بس كفي لمدة 3 شهور قدام هذا.
Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
شو لا انا يمكن تاكل كنت افكر فيك لا تخاف. ما حسيت بالشبع. عليكم الخونة والله. يعطيني ايتم لحم ما ادري شو يعطيني. شوف السهم شوف السلاح خيبة شو ان شاء الله اكبر عن جسمها. شفت السلاح هذا دوما ما عنده شيء. انتم مش مهمين.
Did we really just spend that much money?
طبخ. تعرف أنا شخصياتي شو قوتهم؟ أنا لو في بداية المعركة الستاتس مال الشخصيات كلهم هاي ماكس، ديفنس ماكس، اتاك ماكس، دوج ماكس، ما ادري شو ماكس، اليمنت ماكس. لان في رينجز، ما الرينجز انا محطي حقهم.
Hoodle, no, that's mine.
Never thought I'd see you fighting Hoodle over food of all things. Normally you share everything you have with him.
Yeah, but this is a fancy parfait. Every girl dreams of having one of these.
Is it really that big of a deal?
Please don't bring me into this.
It's always nice to eat something that fulfilling.
I can't believe I actually get to have it all for myself. Every little bite makes me so happy.
But isn't that parfait gonna cost you quite a lot more than your regular ice cream choice?
That's all the more reason for me to enjoy it. Everyone knows it takes lots and lots of sweets to stay full of energy.
Everybody, a cream monster has devoured Greenwell.
At times such as these,
شي على هيلث بار 6 7 ايتمز شي يقول لك هاي.
Yeah, definitely.
ياب.
Dohalim's right.
شوفي.
If someone's trying to enjoy their favorite food, just leave them to it and don't
انا ما
bother them.
غشيت ابوي.
Yep.
هذا الموجود داخل اللعبة سويت انا.
I don't get women.
هذا الموجود.
So good.
هذا مش محسوبة. منو سوى كيف سوى مش محسوبة. عطل فيكم.
Damn it! Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
بار هنا الحين شوف على الهيلث بار ماله.
I am Lord Dohalim of Elder Menencia. I command you.
Must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one. Its armor's too strong.
الحين شوف الهيلث مالي. ما ادري مليون شيء ظهر. بس اهم شيء واحد يموت.
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more.
شي بوست اب ديفنس عالي اتاك عالي ما ادري شو عالي يستوي.
A few frenzied Zoogles during experiments here and there, but not much else.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Haros. The ones in blind devotion to
grinding.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, we're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries. At least we'll know to keep our wits about us.
أنا شوف الحين ضربنا من ساعة كاملة أول انكاونتر أسوي ويتكلمون. دقيقتين. أيهو شو هذا؟ كيف تصير هذا؟ كم ما أقدر شيء. بايلك هذا وين قاعد؟ اوكي عليهم تروفي بعد اليت. اوه خشي زاد هذا هنا عشان تروفي.
Now, you're mine!
Supernova! Lunar Blast!
Station!
Water Blast! Back into the fray! Dance, Immortal Droplet!
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
الراجل يقول أنا شو سويت الحين فيهم. هذا هني.
Let's dispose of the trash. I never miss! Confiscated!
Time to cross blades!
Between heaven and earth! Blood! The wailing glory of lightning! Lunar Blast!
You picked the wrong fight! Here I come! No escape! Raining flash! Dragon Swarm!
Wind after
Do it! Away!
Get toasty!
Bird strike!
Shahid.
Barely a blip on our radar.
Little help!
Shield and fire support! Eternal devastation!
Can't let the hatred consume me!
Dragon Swarm! Raining flash! You're mine! It's too fast!
I'll be saving this one! Freeze Lancer! I'm ready for the next battle! Little help!
I'm not done! Raining flash! Dragon Swarm! I won't show you any mercy!
Demon's Descent!
Flashing Fang!
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Illuminate the dark!
Ignite shot!
Not on my watch! Hurricane Blast!
Denied! You're mine!
That'll bring you...
As if the normal creepy crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
No further! No escape! It's over! It's on! Crush! Ignite!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Quite necessary when creating weaponry.
Get lost!
Dragon Swarm! You're mine! I'm not done! My turn! I'm not done!
It's like trying to keep up with a wall! Do it! I'm on a roll!
Take this!
Here goes!
Raining flash!
Sleep now! Confiscated!
It's time!
Make it rain! The water! Dance in more
Raining flash!
This should come in handy when crafting weapons. Seriously? Is this a joke?
Engaging! To be let free!
Both you won't bow at night. Then you leave me no choice.
I'm not done! Burn in hell!
Dance in the wind!
Dragon Swarm!
Feel healing circle!
Make it rain!
Stockpile!
Blow away!
I will
No escape! Eternal devastation!
Make it rain! Chain between heaven and earth. A wailing banshee of lightning!
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
Get lost!
Feisty one, eh? Dragon Swarm!
You think that shield will fit?
A wailing banshee of lightning! Now!
We're not finished!
Here's the evil! On guard! Freeze Lancer!
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
شو بعضها بفلوس انا مليون فلوس عندي.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen.
شو استلعبت الحين؟ ماكسيموس.
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Danon. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for. Let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other.
So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imaris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, It was like a stream of Danon astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegus. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you okay?
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them too, if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
اوه بوس فايت. كنا نشوف هذا عرف فيه بوس فايت. ما بقدر عليه. نشوف كم ليفل بيه. اخي كرهنا يا ريال. اقول كيف مت انا؟ انا مش مركز على الهيلث مالي. وين البوس؟
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
بدك تحدد الزمن هذا شو؟ طلعت وحش خايس بحب اطفحه.
A summoning?
سوت لي summoning ها؟
She never had that kind of power when...
We can talk later. Here it comes.
والله. ليفل 45 هو.
What? Faria control Zugos like that before?
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master core?
Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the Zugals,
أطاطا
then we get some answers.
It's weakened!
This ends now!
Glacial Force! Do it!
Kisara, Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
You're mine!
That'll bring you down!
Not today! Take this! I'm not done!
That move!
Here comes the big one!
Take this!
شو علم؟
The enemy's on the run.
We've got him where we want him.
It's time to end this battle.
Hurricane Fire to the wind!
Dragon strike is yours to be let free!
Piercing through!
I'm not done!
Healing arc! Going in! Do it! Dohalim!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
Now it's just her!
Faria! Can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning!
بعد summoning شو
The
سالفة
art
تبعوها
she's
هاي
casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much
بس
more.
تسوي summoning هي ما تضر في المعركة. ايوه.
Forgive me.
لا سوت فيه. اعطاه. هتلاقيها فجرت هذا الكرة مالها.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case...
I'll take her off your hands.
You? Avakir, what are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're
بيخلص اللعبة
up to.
يلا
But
ردوا
whatever it
هناك
is,
وما ادري
I
شو
hope it all works
من هناك عقب يردون كل شخصية
Thank you.
تطلع يودونه. حس ان اللعبة مال امبولانس هذه الصراحة.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria, it's always the closest to me who get hurt.
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. Someone who knew me well enough to know that I'd hesitate to fight back. And the same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones, if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almadria. As for Tarnigan, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be alive. That and the whole damn hierarchy that makes it possible. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed.
لا لا عيرت نظارة طلع مو بحلو عليهم.
Is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
ما حطي اثنين قطوا بدل نظارات.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
Yes.
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. You keep it in your heart always. And then you go on living. Not for those already past, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can make a difference in the lives of others. Lives being the operative word.
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference. Punishing yourself for the past won't make the pain of your conscience go away.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim. Not for yesterday. And not only that, you need to live for yourself. And for the change that you still can be.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve. The Forbidden Zone, remember?
Shion.
Huh?
Thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as well. I'm most
محمد
grateful.
بن زايد
Oh, shucks. We're on the same team,
حاكم
right?
الإمارات.
Let's move on.
خليفة بن زايد.
Do you think Faria was really being controlled by someone?
Certainly seemed that way. The question is, who? The Red Woman?
The same person who's behind all of this, I'll bet. Whoever that is.
Brainwashed or otherwise, the feelings of resentment she holds towards me are real.
Someone used her because they knew we'd hold back. If that's not playing dirty, I don't know what is.
It does tell us one thing at least. Someone here in Lenegis is watching us. Someone who means us harm.
There's no question. That attack was meant for us alone.
By someone capable of getting inside a person and manipulating them like a weapon. We need to find whoever it is.
What is it, Rinwell? Do you hear something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
Oh, cutscene. Anti Red Woman. Flashback.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her, it reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling, just like the will of Dana.
But the will of Dana is made up
والله
of
زين
astral
هالفريق
energy
مسوين
too,
تباعد
right?
اجتماعي مترين من كل
And if
واحد
that's what's been
عشان
showing us
كورونا.
these visions, I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's will would never want oblivion.
But you can't say that for sure.
Cut it out, you two.
أهم شيء
Squabbling
مترين
over
عن بعض.
theories will get us nowhere.
Let's keep moving. If it's Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going.
منو؟
If these really are Neoris memories we're watching, there could be truths in them I was never aware of.
اي هاي اقوى شخصية عندي.
And I think
ساحرة هاي
they may
ايوه
be the
ساحرة
kinds of
تكون.
truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
يوم اسوي ابيليتي الدوم افتح وياها يعني اسوي لينك.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
يا اخي توا خلصنا
vision we
كاتسين
saw.
بعد كاتسين.
It was as if it was meant specifically for us.
What do you make of it?
والله.
Do you still think the will of Dana might be involved somehow?
Maybe it's trying to tell us something.
انتهى الموضوع.
What?
ولا سيريس
Well,
سيريس.
it could be supernatural. You know, like
Wallah.
seeing dead people, messages from beyond the grave, ghost-type stuff.
That's your grand theory? That we're being haunted? Come on, Law.
Wait. He might be closer to the mark than you think. What if a person's thoughts and deeds were to somehow become indelibly etched into the ether of a place? And what if those with a connection could then somehow pick up on them?
You think that's what it was? Some kind of message someone left here for us?
I am merely entertaining the possibility.
اوكي
Whether it
ما
was
مات
Dana's
اليابان.
will,
بدو
or
كوجين.
somehow connected to the Sovereign and Maiden's powers, I do not know.
Okay,
I'll
back
be
up a
هذا
sec.
اكسبوكس.
You're saying that if a place is full of enough astral energy, it can somehow show us events
أنا
that
بقى يا
happened
أخي.
centuries ago?
More to the point, how does that much
Need for
astral
Speed بعد
energy
ما في
gather
أي
in one
أخبار.
place anyway? Seems unlikely it happened naturally.
Whatever it was, it survived
Oh.
here intact for 300 years. Whoever left
اي
it for us, the strength of their
يختفون
intent is
فجأة
beyond doubt.
وبعدين
Strength of
يطلعون
their intent.
ينزلك نيت يشبهون بعض بعد. بعد كرسي ما مشيت خطوة.
Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns, as well as my own past.
ما مشيت خطوة كرسين.
I have to be ready to face
بس
it.
سويت فوق.
Whatever happens. I'm determined to save Shion and Dana. Nothing I learn can change that.
شوف. هاك شوف. خلنا اسوي سيف هنا عقب اكمل والعثرة والله. يمللني يا ريال مليون كلام. خلاص يبولي بوس الاخير وضاربه يا اخي. لا ليش هذا استوى شي وليش ما ادري شو عشان تصير عنده ما ادري كم اليد بضارب يا قبلي. مو مشكلة لي سهلين. اهم شيء هو ما يلي يكون ليفل 100 هي ها بسوي. لان علينا هنا اصادفهم ليفلات 64 65 يلي الاليت. هاي الكلبة هاي ها ترقص بعد. رد وومن اسمها والله حس الشهر يمشي بطيء والله. لا بس شيء ding.